Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, November 16th, 2019. My name is Rich, and joining me once again this week is Bijan. How are you making out?
I'm good, man. Wonderful week. Wonderful day. Beautiful world. I don't know what else to say, man. Good vibes.
It is good vibes, and we are here to share those good vibes with you because we are going to help you. We're going to help those of you that are last-minute procrastinators get your ANW submissions in order because the deadline is coming up.
Yes, real quick.
Yeah, so the deadline this year is December 6th. That is only a couple of weeks away, so I hope most of you have gotten them in. That's actually one of our tips for getting a better placement and a better chance of being on the show. But if you haven't, please make sure you stick through the episode. We'll do what we can to help you along the way.
I wonder how many people were just I guess they just thought it would be at the end of the year like usual. And it was like, oh crap, it's coming up a week from now or whatever. Man, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people just scavenging up for some videos right now.
Yeah. Actually, we should break the news. You want to give them the bad news or should I?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I will not be submitting a video this year. I let myself go in terms of, I haven't been doing any competitions this year. And I went to a ninja gym a few weeks ago, and I am just way too far behind. And I always said I will not, even go for the show. If I can't even, keep up for what I feel like is, my own, self, just whatever physical peakness. I don't ever want to give up a spot, somebody else's placement on the show if I'm not up to snuff. So, I'm going to start going into competitions again next year. I'll be in better shape by the end of the year, and hopefully I'll, apply for the show again. I always bring that, the personality and everything, but I also have to bring the athleticism also, and it's just not fair to not be up to snuff.
Yeah, I think that most of us can appreciate that, but I will ask that everyone help encourage Bijan over the next year. I say we keep at him to make sure that he's ready for next year, because I'd love to see you on the show again. I'd love to be able to get there for the next one.
You just gotta be like, yo, you apply for that Spartan race? You doing that marathon right there? Yo, I hear there's Tough Mudder coming up, or a Rugged Maniac, or blah blah blah. What other ones? You better be on that, buddy.
Something along those lines. Maybe I can do something to encourage you from my end. Maybe I'll do some. Maybe I'll have a goal of my own that I can work towards.
Yeah, nice, man. But, dude, also, I definitely want to say right off the bat, everyone, next week, be on the lookout for our podcast, because we are covering something really, really fun that just was breaking news to me from Jesse Graff's Instagram. Yo, they are having a USA versus the world type thing for Ninja Warrior Germany. And they've got 5 of the top ANW ninja athletes that traveled to Germany for their show. And it looks like a really, really fun competition special. And Rich and I are going to be covering that next week. So keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, that should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We've had some great guests the last few weeks. Ryan Stratus last week, for those that missed it. We had Ethan Swanson a couple weeks before that. So the offseason has been pretty good to us. But I am missing Ninja a little bit, right? Unix is great, but there's nothing quite like a fully produced Ninja show to really pull us in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, keep a lookout for that, guys. Just to name off the bat, or, list off the ANW athletes that are representing America. We got Jamie Ron, Drew Dreschel, the OG, of course. OG is not the right term. The real-life ninja dude. Isaac Caldiero. We got Neil Craver, Jesse Graff, and, of course, Flip Rodriguez. Heck yeah, what a team to represent America, man.
That is an amazing team. I hope Germany's bringing it. I hope they've got a good team together, because that is going to be a hard team to beat.
Yeah, and we've got Team Asia, Japan. I don't really know what they're going to classify themselves as, but we got oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. The best, the guy that won the last for Sasuke. What is his name? Oh, I just throw in the towel for all my Sasuke cards. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name.
Hit the bell.
That is going to bug me to death.
Yusuke Morimoto?
Thank you. It's Morimoto, the man, the myth, the legend. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what he's going to do.
All right. So let's take a look at some of these tips. I know we've got a couple videos we're going to review as well. I just kind of looked out there on YouTube for a couple of people that have recently submitted. We'll talk about how they stack up against these tips that we have. I will also link. I got these tips primarily from ANW Nation. Had an article a couple of years ago with the people that review the videos. I looked at Mud Run Guide. And we've had some discussions in the past with former ninjas and things like that. So have a general sense of what the show is looking for.
Yeah, and most importantly, bring personality, people.
Right. So
I've seen enough of these videos. Oof.
Right. So let's start. I've got tip number 1 here. We're gonna make it about 2 minutes long. The total the maximum length is 3 minutes. I say. And the guide says keep it to about 2 minutes if you can. Like coming in a little short is fine as long as you hit all the points that you need to hit.
Yeah, and the main reason for this is you want it short and sweet. You want to make an impact, and you don't want to overstay your welcome. You have to realize that they are going to be watching thousands of videos. You times that by 3 minutes or even more for some of these people that don't get the gist. Their eyes are going to glaze over. Rich, how many times have we talked about these vignettes on ANW, which are probably even shorter than 3 or 2 minutes, and it just feels like so long. You're like, another one? And we're probably watching what? Maybe 8 max per episode,
right.
And even that's too much. Imagine that times 100 or even more than that. Okay, keep it short and sweet, make a major impact in a short period of time.
Yeah, I think they watch like 40 to 70,000 of these things, right? So it can vary year to year, but it's going to be tens of thousands that they're going to go through. So you got to catch their attention. So with that being said, the first 30 seconds are very important. So make sure you have a lot of focus on the early part of your video, right? Get their attention early on, have high energy. Right? Like if we were sitting here talking right now, I mean, listen to our early episodes. You can listen to me drone on. Like if you don't have high energy, no one wants to listen. No one wants to watch that. You need to bring it a little bit. You don't have to be like crazy, like, you don't need to be honking horns and like acting like a lunatic, but you need to have a little bit of enthusiasm or they're not going to want to watch it.
Yes, Rich, I totally agree. It would not be fun to hear this in the video or say, hello, my name is Bob. I do flips. Everyone does flips. Do something different, y'all. Make some fun. Do some energy, bring some energy, bring some excitement. Don't be my sass because I'm crazy, y'all. You don't have to, a lot of people feel like you just have to be unnaturally excited or, be uncomfortable, with yourself. Just show your personality in a fun way that represents yourself.
Yeah. That brings us to the next tip. Have a unique story, right? We've talked about this 1,000 times, mainly when it goes wrong, right? Mainly when someone picks a story that doesn't make any bit of sense, is not engaging. If you like cake, that's great. Everyone likes cake. That's just not a great way to. If you have a pet cat, great. That's great for you. So do I, right? So do a lot of people.
Oh boy, you're triggering me right now. Oh.
So here's the thing. You have to remember, right? So a lot of people that apply for the show, you're a yoga instructor, you're a fitness coach, you're a fit, good-looking person. Unfortunately, so are 90% of the people applying for this show, right? You need to find that unique thing about you that stands out. It does, what is your hobby? What is the thing? Like, you may have to take up a new hobby. Like, I mean, to be honest, if you really want to get on this show, you need to consider that, hey, maybe sitting and watching Netflix isn't the best way to spend your weekends. You better find something that's going to hook people.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't always have to be like. I feel people go to the extremes sometimes. Like, oh, we're saying you have to be unique, so oh my gosh, I don't have anything unique about me. I got to do something crazy. Like I got to do, I don't know, parkour off of a building or whatever. Blah blah blah. Don't go insanely out of the box, but find something that's unique or fun. And honestly, most people downplay what's actually unique about them. So find something that when you Best way to describe it is ask your friends, people close to you and everything like that, and be like, hey, what's something unique about me that when you put yourself outside of the comfort of knowing me, what's actually different about me compared to most people?
Yeah, it's hard to judge for yourself, right? Like, I think a good example, and I get it, it's a career thing. A lot of times people focus on their careers. But to me, like, being a lunch lady is a perfect ninja career. It is just quirky enough to get your attention. It makes you unique. You don't need a whole lot besides that. You don't need to have crazy hobbies. Like, focus on the lunch lady thing. You got my attention. You're a weatherman. Cool. That sounds interesting. Like, marrying that up to an athlete is inherently interesting.
How crazy was it a few seasons ago when there was a weatherman that made it to stage 3? Like, how insane was that?
It was nuts. Like, nobody had any expectations for him going in. Like, he didn't look like one of these crazy buff athletes. He didn't have a background in parkour and all these things that really made him stand out. It just seemed like a local personality who wanted to try the course.
Yeah, and that's what they're looking for. I mean, once again, there's a million people that work at ninja gyms and, are gym instructors in other fields or kinesiology majors. Things that make you seem like an everyday person oftentimes will give you a leg up also.
Yeah, so things that make you stand out in normal life in ninja don't as much. It's like almost a weird bizarro world where you got to take those little silly quirks that you have that you seem every day and use those as your differentiator, because the fact that you're super buff just really isn't that unique in the ninja world. So as far as the video goes, for what they're saying anyway, I will... I mean, it's their recommendations, and they're the ones who watch the videos. They say that you don't have to be a professional videographer and things like that. But at the same time, they do recommend, submitting early so they can provide feedback on things like backlighting and stuff like that. I think there's a minimum standard you should be striving for, right? You need to be clearly visible. You need your lighting to be decent, and you need your audio to be clear, right? Try not to have a train passing by as you're trying to do this stuff. Don't drown yourself out with music. Have it so that we can hear what you're saying, so they can hear what you're saying, and so that we can focus on your personality and your story.
All right, yeah, let me take over this one because I kind of have a background in a lot of editing and stuff like that. Not a whole lot. I don't want to act like a video editor, but I mean, there is some very, very basic, easy stuff that I constantly see people just failing at. Number one, oh my God, if people film landscape, do not hold your phone up like a selfie and film something. Big no-no. But other than that, of course, you don't need a high-end video camera. You can use your cell phone, okay? Talk to the camera, show personality, but as Rich said, use good lighting. But I can't speak to this enough, how important it is, especially for videos like this. Even more important is the audio. Do not be in a room where you are super, super echoey. Do not film it in the middle of, a ninja gym where there's just sound bouncing off everywhere and you can barely hear you. Do not film it where you can barely hear the person talking, because to the people watching the videos and doing whatever, they want to know your story more than anything else. If you're applying for this, they expect you to already be physically able to go on the show and everything. They need to see your personality, and more importantly, hear your personality and hear your story. So do not film it in a thing where you're talking like this and blah, 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 blah. I hope it comes out like you can barely hear me. And I'm sure Rich really appreciated me doing that also.
No, I think you did a good job. I could hear you, but I think you gave the right amount of echo for what you hear a lot of times.
Good. And other than that, of course, as Rich said, don't drown it out with music. I mean, I get it. You want some background music, but, Rich, have you ever seen these videos where it's 50% audio and 50% music, and you're just you can barely hear the dang person. Don't do that. So it's just really common sense things like that. And also, I would honestly say for your montage of your athletic stuff, I would say make that maximum 40% of the video, and I say that's maximum. I would honestly strive for that to be 1/3 to 25% of your video, because, just checking off the boxes like, hey, they can be physically fit, but more importantly to them, I have to imagine they want to know who you are.
Yeah, they say you want to strive for about a minute of athletics. And one of the things you should try, and one of the things I hadn't considered, was don't do a lot of quick cuts of your athletics. So yes, you were able to do like a transition on a salmon ladder. That's great. But they're more interested in seeing, can you string that together with other ninja activities? Like, the longer you can get that shot going, of you going from one thing into the next, the better it looks to them. They have more confidence in your ability to take down the course, rather than just having like maybe you tried it 50 times and you finally got it, and that's the one you send in. They want to see you string together multiple obstacles, show that you have the endurance and the talent to go on the show further than the first obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Avoid too much voiceover. We talked about the importance of audio, but they need to see you speaking for a long stretch of time to the camera. Like, not like, don't just sit and stare at the camera 3 minutes, but they want to see you engaging and your charisma coming across on the camera. And that's not as easy to see that or understand that if you're doing a voiceover of your athletic ability, right? So it's okay to do a little bit of that, but try to, when you're talking to the camera, show yourself, show how you can control the camera, control your presence, and draw attention.
Sorry, I got nothing for that one. I mean, it's self-explanatory. I don't know what to say.
It kind of is, but I feel like, so I'll rewind back to your video. So last year, or 2 years ago, I guess it was. When I looked at it, what I liked about it, your submission video was, it was a lot of that initially, right? You really hung on you talking to the camera and just describing, hey, here's who I am, here's what I'm about. And then the second part of the video was about the athletics and showing some of the things that you could do. I think you really let it linger on you, because that's your strength. That's where you can show your personality and draw their attention.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you don't have as much personality, at least try to, fit it in and maybe put more athletics, but don't overdo it one way or the other,
Yeah. And we'll have some examples we can talk about too, as a reminder. So when we're done all this, there'll be links to YouTube videos down in our notes, and you can check it with us. We'll talk through what these people did right and what they did wrong.
Yeah. And also, now that I think about it, I really want to hear, Chatter, like, reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram, and maybe give some comments of or maybe YouTube actually in comments, kind of like post what you think, tips that we didn't touch on for people. I think that'd be nice also. Yeah.
Here's one that surprised me, actually. I hadn't really dug into these articles before. I like this one, and it hadn't occurred to me. Don't get ninja endorsements. Don't get Drew or Jamie or Jesse or anyone to kind of come in and say, hey, this person's really good. Those actually detract from your story, because we want to hear you tell that. We want to see you show that. And it doesn't really carry weight to have a famous ninja endorsing you, I guess.
I kind of like that, because it makes it an even ground. If that was kind of a thing, at a certain point, it would become kind of like the cool club or whatever. It's all about networking at that point. So I never thought about that, but it makes a lot of sense. And honestly, I'm all for it.
Yeah, we've seen them leverage it on the show and in people's stories and sidelines and things like that. But they don't need that, right? They can choose to do that themselves. You're not going to get their attention and get on the show by doing that, right? They know the ninjas. They're not impressed.
Yeah. I guess they can do it after the fact. They can make it part of the story afterwards.
Yeah. And I think the last one I got here is, don't use cliche music, right? So if you're going to have some music over it, that's fine, especially for the athletic parts. But don't use Eye of the Tiger. Don't use Rocky themes. Don't use, You're the Best Around from Karate Kid. If it's the first thing that jumps to your mind, it's probably not the first thing you should use.
Yeah, totally. It's very cliche. I'm sure at this point, dubstep's also a big one where they're just like, oh god, another dubstep song, or there's a lot of it. That said, I mean, it's tough because like, what do you recommend at this point, right, Rich? But yeah, just try to make something unique or something that flows pretty well with it. But don't do. I guess my better suggestion would be don't make it like overbearingly loud and crazy.
Yeah, and but to be clear, they said it would not disqualify you. They try not to let it influence their decision, but it's hard not to when you've heard it so many times. It really just kind of sours you on the video pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's human. I mean, honestly, if I was doing that and I heard Eye of the Tiger for the 1000th time, I'd be rolling my eyes and just being like, I hate everyone at this point. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. So we've got two videos that we want to review here. The first one is Ben Martin, who failed to qualify for Vegas last year. He was on the show, though. So this is an ANW12 submission video, which I don't think you guys are supposed to post, right? Like, did they tell you not to post your video online?
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure from years back, I remember seeing that you're not supposed to post it, at the very least before, you're chosen or whatever. So
yeah,
I know I didn't.
There's tons of people that do, though. It's always funny. I don't know if it disqualifies you necessarily, but
I don't think so.
No.
And I'd really feel terrible if us spotlighting them on this podcast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, please, producers or whoever, please don't penalize them. I mean,
yes,
but
I will recommend, based on from what we've seen before, I would recommend not posting your video online. These are just two that we found. So Ben's video, I actually looked at his last year's video, to be clear, and this year's is better, quite a bit better. So I think he took a lot of their feedback and improved it. He highlighted that he failed to qualify for Vegas last year. One note right off the bat was that his music was quite loud and drowning out the voiceover. And the music he was using was okay, but a little generic, right? I think that actually kind of works, and right? It doesn't detract. It's just kind of background like it should be.
Yeah, for me, the biggest issue is, and Ben, please take this to heart, and I mean it with all sincerity of for improvement. Watch where you're filming your video, because during the video, when he's just talking to the camera, you can barely understand what he's saying because it's very, very echoey. It was a lot of what I was talking about before. I mean, it's not extreme or anything like that, but it's pretty bad where you really have to give a lot of effort to understand what he's saying. And that kind of stuff, if you really have to put in a lot of effort, it's that much harder. So, yeah, just something to keep an eye out on. But let's talk about what we saw in this video. This dude is super strong. He was doing some pull-ups. I forget the name of the pull-up type, where you go all the way up and then you kind of lock off with one arm and have your hands you stick it out further where you're barely even touching the bar, and then doing that on both sides. That is some insane strength.
He looked incredibly strong. So we talked about how everybody's fit on the show, but if you have these unique skills and you have this strength, he really highlighted his strength well, right? Like you said, full range of motions, wearing a tank or something so you can really see how muscular the guy is. Certainly very, very fit. I thought his video was really good in those parts because he didn't do a lot of quick cuts. He really let it linger, see his skill, see as he carried through a lot of motions right through the Ninja Gym. But he also sped it up at parts, right? So you don't see him just hanging in a spot for long periods of time. He used the sped up video to keep it moving, so it's always engaging. I thought that was all really, really good.
Yeah, definitely.
One other great thing he did was really interesting. What made him compelling, when the story he chose to focus on, and it was a really smart choice, is his work with young Korean adoptees. I think that's genius, right? It really stands out. It's unique. It's interesting. It's everything they want on the show. So a fantastic choice by Ben to pick that extracurricular thing that he does and make that the focus of the story.
Yeah, it checks all the boxes, and most importantly, it's very likable. I mean, how are you going to hate on somebody that does that, So, I mean, 100%, it's great.
Yeah, and I liked his athletics, because he does a lot of ninja training, or it seems like he does. That was the impression I got, because he focused on the ninja portion of his skills, right? I'm sure he does a lot of things, but he really made a point of going to a ninja gym, going through obstacles that are familiar to us all, and showing them one after another that he can do them. So Overall, good video. I would not be too surprised to see Ben Martin on the show again this year.
Yeah, totally. Dude, let's talk about this next one.
Yeah,
wow.
I know you're excited for the next one. Amy Collingwood also has a submission video.
I'm telling you now, if Amy Collingwood does not get picked, I might lose my mind. Like, you're going to see an epic rant if she isn't chosen.
So let's go through the pros and the cons of her video. First off,
how dare you say cons?
Oh,
this is perfection.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I have any cons now that you say that. I thought I did. Yeah, I do. Okay. So it's an interesting choice of her and a really good choice, I think, that very early on in her video, she cuts to her talking to Jay Leno, talking backwards in her Marine uniform. Like
you might want to add, she was on the Jay Leno show, like the Tonight Show Jay Leno. It wasn't like she was just talking to him in a parking lot. Like, dude, she was on the Tonight Show.
Like, that just gets your attention immediately. Like, wait, what? Like, why was she on Jay Leno? And why is she talking backwards? Like, just a strange circumstance that immediately grabs your attention. So, like, I love that she put that right near the beginning. She talks to the camera for just a brief introduction, and then we jump right to that.
Yeah, we might want to add, she was on the Tonight Show Jay Leno because she can talk. Or did you already say this? I'm sorry if you did.
I mentioned it. So yeah, she was able to say things. She could read sentences backwards or talk backwards. I only found that vaguely interesting. I think tying it into the Tonight Show and everything, I think helped a lot.
Yeah, but also, I mean, this is something that they can just milk for all day, you know, like if she does well, you better believe there's going to be all these sideline interviews with her talking backwards and everything.
Oh yeah.
It's totally going to happen.
The signs on the sidelines will all be backwards. I mean, it's a perfect thing for the show. Yeah, that's a good point.
Totally.
They love the military, right? Having her be, showcasing her, the fact that she's part of the Marine Corps, like, perfect. Like, it's wonderful. Showing her husband, who is a absolutely jacked Marine himself.
Dude, he's like a walking tank. Like, she is very, very fit. And this dude, man.
Yeah, I was like, I had my note was like insanely fit woman, and then like the husband's just a tank.
He might as well be a wrestler. You know, it's insane.
There was a fair amount of her, so she didn't do really, really long stretches in front of the camera, but just enough, right? A couple sentences, like 5 to 10 seconds, and then she would cut to video of her doing athletics. It was enough that you always felt like she was present and that you got a good sense of her personality and that she was engaging the camera. She was engaging the audience. She really does have that presence that you want to keep watching.
Yeah, and more importantly, it was short and sweet. Like, she really hit all the major points. She came out with a bang, really grabbed your attention. Very personable with the camera, just automatically with her presence. Like, she's very, very fit, so she's just very standout. She's unique looking in all the right ways. And yeah, like, everything about it is a big thumbs up in my opinion.
Yeah. My only negative criticism, and it's a minor one really, is I thought it was a few too many jump cuts, right? I would have liked to have seen her string together some obstacles, some of her athletics. I would have liked to seen it linger a little bit longer, right? She really kind of jumped between her doing the salmon ladder to quickly, like, just like one rung in the salmon ladder, over to her with her kids, over to something else, which was visually interesting, but I would have liked to have seen her doing more ninja stuff, like, in a longer sequence.
I respect that. I guess that's fine.
Yeah. But other than that, great video. Like, I'm interested to see if she gets on the show or not.
Dude, if she doesn't. Calling it now, y'all. Another rant coming.
So Amy Collingwood, fantastic job. Make sure you check out these videos, right? That was the two. Ben Martin and Amy Collingwood. We got lucky because I've watched these in the past. Back when we first started the podcast, we were looking for new videos every week to cover. There are some really, really bad ANW submission videos out there.
Yeah, these two were good. I mean, Ben, please take it to heart, like the audio thing, but we're not hating. I actually found both these videos really, really good, and I fully expect both of them to be on the show.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. As opposed to, if you go digging, you will find quote-unquote submission videos, because they barely qualify, of
some hot garbage.
Somebody just grabbing their phone and talking to it for literally 15 seconds going, yeah, my name is Bob, and I'd like to be on Ninja Warrior this season. I'm really fit, and I think you should have me on because I'm fun to watch. All right, have a good one. And that's it. That's the whole video.
I'm just saying, you film in portrait, automatically disqualified, and shame on you.
So that's our quick tips for your ANW submission videos. We love seeing them. We've had lots of people send them in. Like I said, we did recommend you don't post them online, but share them over to us. Make it a private video. Send it over. We love watching them. We'll give you some feedback.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but I just want to clarify. Like, send it to us. We let us know. Like, we won't talk about it or any blah blah blah. It's all good.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Bijan, with these guests on, we tend not to do the 5-star reviews. But have we had any 5-star reviews lately?
Buddy, we do. We got one from Brooke Woods 456. Awesome podcast. I love the podcast. I listen to it every week, and it is the best. You guys have a great energy between each other, and it is awesome. Well, guess what, Brooke Woods? You're awesome. Yay! All good vibes. Brooke Woods 456. You are the 5-star review of the week.
Thank you so much, Brooke. If you'd like to have your 5-star review read out, make sure you drop into iTunes, leave us a review, and we'll get you on the podcast. We will give you a quick shout out, or Bijan will give you a quick shout out, and I'll sit by and laugh at the craziness.
It's Risha's favorite part of the podcast.
It is. So if you'd like to reach out to us, though, if you'd like to send us your ANW submission videos or anything else, any comments on how we're doing and what you'd like to see or hear, send it to rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah. Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151. And get ready, y'all, because next week is going to be real fun with that special.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening, and have a wonderful week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all.